Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about the racism in the United States.
Actually charged verbal assault on an Asian family that was caught on camera.
Asian Americans are facing discrimination not
in the years since that attack. In some of America's largest cities, hate crimes have surged. A reminder that there is still a lot of work ahead.
The talented actor and comedian Ken Jeong appeared on Late Night with Seth Meyers to talk about the race in anti-Asian American hate crimes in the United States. The Atlanta spa shooting and how both of these were directly influenced by racist rhetoric like Kung Flu and the Chinese virus, disseminated by a certain former president that he did not call out by name. Jeong began by praising late-night writer Karen Chih, who had a very expressive piece on the day that it happened. Jeong said, "It was very moving. It is just a sign that with the Asian American community, enough is enough. We're just fed up." And in the study that Karen cited on your show a few days ago, anti-Asian American crime has risen almost 150% in the last year. And in the same study, overall hate crime went down 7%. Jeong explained why this rise has occurred. This is precisely due to weaponizing terms like China virus and Kung Flu, and also the fact that in this particular crime, there is debate whether this crime is racially motivated. Asian American women are 2 times as likely to be assaulted in America. This was racially motivated. This was a hate crime. Jeong continued, "As a guy who used to be a doctor and whose wife is still practicing medicine, I have an idea how to solve COVID. It mask, vaccination, common sense, and etc. But as a human, I don't know how to solve racism. It takes listening, learning, loving, and being tolerant. But it starts in our particular case as Asian American. This Kung Flu has to stop. And we need to express that loudly, and we are." It's powerful statement, especially coming from someone with a comedic persona like Jeong. And it's refreshing to see him speak so candidly in a context without giant singing furies. Is it true that many people are still blaming a race, namely China, for the recent cases of the COVID-19 pandemic? It is factual data that the first COVID-19 case occurred in China, but we must not give a stamp to their race. Moreover, to provide acts of violence or discrimination against the race. In my opinion, we are better off guarding ourselves and those who around us to avoid COVID-19 than looking for one and ridiculing one race, and in this case, it is China or Asian Americans. With ridiculing those race like Chinese virus or Kung Flu, I thought it is not the time anymore to act like that. The implication of this dimension on your interaction can often help you understand confusing situation where things don't go the way you think. Culture is a very strong and silent disruptor in our intercultural interaction. Racism arises because of cultural difference that led to marginalization and superiority of certain cultures. This may cause Americans to treat racism toward Asian Americans who are considered minorities. We are all the same as humans. Cultural acceptance and understanding stems from an awareness of these behaviors, and without knowledge of these topics, it is easy for us to get lost in negative assumptions. Our culture makes us believe that our behavior is the only way to do things because we don't realize that culture exists unless we are forced to compare cultures with one and another. So maybe the key is to educate more people about what culture is and how it affects people's behavior and motivation. Remember that when it comes to cultural observations, there is no right culture and wrong culture. Simply put, it is what it is. Be patient in your judgment. things are often not as they seem. Try to understand someone's motivation for their behavior. Often people don't realize that they behave in a way that shows their culture better than others because they don't even realize the presence of culture is differences. They just believe their culture is the only way to do things and the right way. So as I said before, we are betting of guarding ourselves and those who around us to avoid COVID-19 case, then looking for one and ridiculing one race, and in this case, the China or the Asian American, with ridiculing like the Chinese virus or Kung Flu. I thought it seemed not the right time. From this, you and I may also learn that discriminatory or violence act against a particular race, religion, group are not good. It is better if we embrace the people around us to start positive change or activity that will also be useful for the community around us. Reduce acts of racism of course need to be done with self-awareness, and in my opinion, this is the necessary action to reduce the racism. Number 1, we have to understand what is racism. Racism is understanding that one race is more superior race. Some people sometimes unconsciously believe and apply bad effects and think that their race is a race that is superior to others. Racism produces inequality in many areas of private public life. This includes politics, healthcare programs, legal justice, income, employment. Being an anti-racist means knowing and learning about the inequal and differences that give one racial group over another, recognizing that they are racial and ethnic underprivileged. Number 2, against planned racism. The views and beliefs that we consciously or unconsciously have to change, such as the view that white people are more attractive than black people, or the bad stigma we associate with a racial or ethnic group. Political support also affects racial inequality. How do you support a leader who raises the issue of racial disparity or vice versa? This reality is what often happens. Sometimes we don't realize that racist action and behavior, ignoring and not facing challenges are choices for people who want to be anti-racist. In the other word, what can be done is to change the economic inequality and disparities related to the economic, knowledge, and social access that form the basis of racism through active action. Number 3, support and educate people around us. We cannot be anti-racist without active action. One way to be active is to support activism and organizations that fight policies that create racial disparities. This can be done by following and funding activities and organizations that support the existence of race and the desire to change racist policies. Active action can also be done by educating the next generation, especially by educating about the importance of finding out for all people across races and ethnicities in all aspects. By confronting the problem of racism every day in various aspects of life, we eliminate and change existing inequalities and racist behavior. As American activist James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. That's all from me. Thank you.